Good afternoon, everyone. The topic for today's discussion is human resource management. So before beginning HRM, I would like to throw some light upon what is the meaning of human resource. So it is a little bit weird to refer to the people as human resources. Human resource are all those people that are in one capacity or another work for or contribute towards an organization. So these people make up a company's workforce. They can be regular employees or contractual employees. Especially in this rising gig economy, more and more people are starting to work for organization or contractual basis rather than having a traditional labor contract. So coming back to the point, what is human resources management? So HRM is a process which consists of planning, attracting, developing, and retaining the human resource or employees of an organization. So it is a practice of managing people to achieve the better performance. For example, if you hire people into a business, you are looking for people who fit the company culture as they will be happy if they stay longer, they will be productive than people who won't fit into the company culture. Another example is engagement. Engaged employees are more productive, they deliver high quality work, and they make customers more happier. So this means if we can achieve the employee engagement, then we can help the company in a better manner. So what are the different functions of human resources management? So first is HR planning, which includes the strategic HR planning, HR forecasting, job designing. The next is attracting employee, that is recruitment and selection. Now the next one is developing employee, that is training and development, performance appraisal. And the last is retainment of employee, that is the compensation, maintenance, labor relation, and separation. So first of all, we will discuss about the HR planning or HR forecasting. So planning for the future personal needs of an organization is HR planning. It takes into account both the internal activity and the factor involved in the external environment. So basically, it is the process of forecasting the future human resource requirement of organization, keeping in mind that how the existing human resource capacity of the organization can be utilized to fulfill these requirements. HR managers are in stage of anticipating the workforce requirements rather than getting surprised by the sudden change of events. So if somebody suddenly resigns from a particular position, and if an HR is having some person who is having the same skill set that matches the person's skills who has left the company, then it would be a great benefit for the functioning of the company. So in this way, HR managers maintain HR inventory for this purpose. So it also prevents the business from falling into the trap of shifting workforce market, and a common concern among all the industry and sector. Organization in growth phase may face the challenge of meeting the need for critical set of skill, competency, and talent to meet their strategic objectives so that they can stand well prepared to meet the HR needs. Considering the organizational goals, HR planning allows the identification, selection, and development of required talent or competency within the organization. So it is the same concept that we study in economics, that is the demand supply. So in HR planning, we also deal with the recruitment phase. So we will discuss what is the meaning of recruitment. Recruitment and selection are arguably the most visible element of HR. We all remember our first interview, right? Or as many of you who are still students, you are going to face the interview soon. So recruiting candidates and selecting the best ones to come and work for the company is a key HR responsibility. People are the lifeblood of the organization, and finding the best fit is a key task. So the request for new hires usually start when a new job is created or an existing job opens up. The direct manager then sends the job description to the HR, and HR starts recruiting candidates. In this process, HR can use different selection instruments to find the best person to do the work. These include interview, different assessment, reference checks, and other recruitment methods. So sometimes when there are a lot of candidates, HR may deploy a pre-selection tool. These tools help to separate the wheat from the chaff when it comes to suitable candidate. The successful candidate then continue to the next round when they are interviewed and receive a more in-depth assessment. So nowadays, so many technical tools are available in order to um, rectify the list of the resumes that is being sent to the HR department, because nowadays most of the jobs are being applied online. So companies have these vacancies on their websites, and then the candidates can go through those websites and they can apply for the position by uploading their resumes. So job designing is done prior to the recruitment, and the process of describing the work that needs to be done by an employee is basically what job designing is all about. It also specifies the requirements needed in fulfilling the job. So job designing is divided into the two sections. One is job description and the another is job specification. So this was all about recruitment, and after the recruitment gets completed, the selection is performed, and it's a mutual process whereby the organization decide to make a job offer and the candidate decide whether or not to accept it. There are certain steps in selection. The first is the physical exam, then in-depth interview, background investigation, testing, initial interview, and job application. So in this way, job offer is given to the candidate. Now the next important function is the development. So learning and development is one of the important aspects of an organization's development. People are the product of life experiences. The country and the era they grow in, and in a range of cultural influences. Within HR, learning and development ensure that employee adapt to the changes in processes, technology, and societal or legal shift. So it's basically helping the employee to reskill and upskill. Learning and development is led by the HR, and good policies can be very helpful in advancing the organization towards its long-term goals. After the selection of candidates, the first process that is being introduced to the candidate is the orientation process. So it's a program designed to help the employee fit smoothly into the organization. So in the orientation, the HR managers give a brief description about the history of the organization, the hierarchy in which the employee is going to work, the information about the directors, the founders, and all the different activities that a particular company is doing in the industry. It also helps the candidate to get in-depth knowledge about the company in which he has recently joined. After the orientation program, the training is given to acquire the required skill set that is being taken into consideration in order to perform a given job. So training is a process designed to maintain or improve current employee performance. The next is development. Excuse me. A process designed to develop skill and attitude necessary for future work. So basically, many organizations have predefined budget for learning and development efforts. This budget is then distributed amongst employees, with trainees, future leaders, and other high potential often receiving or training opportunity than others. Individuals may arrive at a company with vastly different knowledge and experience. So learning and development provide employee an opportunity in which they can bridge the skill gap and develop into leaders. So a well-known framework that connects the performance management with learning and development activities, the 9-box grid. It's one of the methods in which the gap can be recovered. So based upon the people's performance and potential rating, HR department together with manager can advise different development plans. Now the next is performance appraisal. So it is a process of providing feedback to the subordinate regarding their performance on the job. So once employees are on board, performance management becomes important. Performance management is the second HR basic. It involves helping people to become their best selves at work, boosting the company's bottom line. So it could be formal, it could be informal. So usually employee have a defined set of responsibility that they need to take care of. And the performance management is a structure that enables the employee to get feedback on their performance. That is to reach their best performance. So example of the formal are one-to-one performance review, 360-degree review. Uh, that also takes into account the evaluation of peers, clients, and other relations and more informal feedback. So formal appraisal process is used for rating work performance, identifying those deserving raises and promotions, identifying those in need of the further training. So the next is retention of the employees. In this, we are going to discuss about the compensation. So fair compensation is key in motivating and retaining employees. One of the fundamental of human resource management concerning pay is ensuring equity and fairness. That is, everybody should get the fairness in whatever he is getting in the form of remuneration in place of the work that he or she is doing for a particular job. So basically, making the right offer of pay is a key part of attracting the best talent. This must be balanced with the budget and profit margin of the company. HR should monitor pay increase and set standard of merit. HR may also carry out a pay audit on occasions. So the educated equitable remuneration of personnel for their contribution in the achievement of organizational objective is a fair compensation strategy. It also comprises of the primary compensation and the secondary compensation. So primary compensation is involving directly paid money for work, which often is a monthly salary or sometimes performance based salary, and secondary benefits are all monetary, non-monetary rewards which are not given in the form of salary. So it can include extra holiday, flexible working time, daycare pension, a company car, a laptop, or so on. So the major goal here is to reward the people in ways that motivate them so that they can stay in the company for a longer duration. So this is about compensation. Next is the labor relations. So it entails the recognizing the validity of union negotiating for the collective bargaining agreement and being able to handle strike and other form of mass action. So sometimes it happens that the people who are working in the company, they are not that much satisfied with their job, or they need some kind of uh, negotiation, or like for example, if they are demanding for increase in their salary. So labor relations play a vital role in retaining the employee, because if the employee is not happy with the job, then he or she might leave the company soon. So in order to retain them, uh, various strategies are being followed, and the major role is of the department, HR managers, who can who can conduct counseling of the employees, and they both the parties can reach at a common opinion. So various terms like the collective bargaining agreement and these kind of things are being conducted in the organization so that the strikes could be handled, and so many mass actions could be avoided. Mass resignation and all such concepts, these are in trend nowadays. So they could be only avoided if the HR managers will focus upon the um, job satisfaction of the employees working with the company. So labor relation are used to define the process between employee and the employer, management and union in order to make the decision in the organization. The decision taken refer to the wages, working condition, hours of work and safety at work, security and grievances. So sometimes it might happen that the employees are working overtime and they are not getting the required remuneration that they should get. Like every employee should be paid according to the uh, working days and working hours for which he has performed his duties. But if they are not satisfied with the remuneration that they are getting, then they can go on strike. So employee retention is one of the important aspect in human resource development. Maintenance, so it's a process of providing the following service to employee: career counseling and safety and health programs. It also involves the minimization of absenteeism and tardiness. So basically, these maintenance, career counseling, these kind of processes can help HR managers to get to know what are the various issues that a particular employee is facing, and if he or she shares her problems, her concerns with the HR manager, then they can easily resolve the issues, and as a result, absenteeism, that is the lack of attention towards their job, and tardiness could be easily avoided. Separation, that is the last thing. So whenever a person resigns from the company, then the separation is happening, and the process of reintegrating employee to society entails the following. Employee should be terminated for a just cause. A retirement plan must be provided for old employee as an aid when they leave the company. So gratuity and all these kind of things, they are related to the um, employees who have given so much of their valuable time towards the company. So in this way, if a person has worked in a company till his retirement age, then a retirement plan must be provided for old employees so that they can live their life post retirement easily. So in this way, we complete our topic, that is human resources management. So we have seen so many functions, and all these functions, they interact and affect each other. They are the building blocks of a particular organization, and strong management of each fundamental element of the functions which we have discussed contribute to the strength of the next. So collectively, these HR fundamentals enable a workforce not only to provide better, but to perform at its best. Thank you.